tips for selling your physical items online. So we're getting rid of some old stuff and making a few bucks at the same time. It's the new year. We've had a new influx of things with Christmas. A lot of us are decluttering right now, and some things are hard to let go of because we know they still have value. Whether you paid for it or someone gave it to you, even though you guys are done with it and it's ready to go, it's still hard to let go when you know there's value there that you're throwing away, sort of. So selling our things, our used stuff, is a way to kind of soften that blow a little bit and feel like we're still getting some value back, and that's nice on our bank accounts and our mental capacity for people like me who have a hard time letting go and decluttering. This is not natural for me at all to declutter, but we're working on it. Anyway, so these are my tips. So first of all, what should you be selling? So we want to start looking at anything that we are no longer using, we no longer need, things that are causing problems or points of frustration in your home, like furniture that's not functioning the way your family needs to, gifts that, although you appreciated, are not going to be used and are just floating around your home, stuff that you've outgrown. This of course can apply to clothes that are too small, but also like jewelry or decor that you have no longer fits in with your taste. You've kind of outgrown that, and it's something that your past self loved but that you are currently not into it. And that also includes old hobbies, things that you love doing and used to do and are currently not interested in it or don't have the time in this current season of your life. You can sell it and give that value to someone else. Stuff that you're holding on to for just in case. Chances are that day will never come, and you've got to assess like how difficult would it be to actually attain something like that if it were needed in the future, whether it's worth it to you to keep storing it, if that makes sense. I also want to caution you that all of these things that you're looking at to get rid of, a lot of it probably should just go to donation, or maybe some of it even the trash. We don't want to overload ourselves with trying to sell every item that we're getting rid of, because even though there is value in everything, it's not always enough value to make it worth your time and effort. Don't overload yourself. I've done this before and hoarded tons of things I tried to sell, and if you're enjoying it and you have the space and the time, go for it. But if you know yourself, so whatever you can handle and whatever is not going to be overwhelming to you. For me, it takes up a lot of mental space when I'm selling different things and talking to different people, and it's a lot for me to juggle and visually see in my house, so tend to keep that small if possible. One way to help with this is to set a money limit. So I'm only going to be selling things if I think it could sell for $20 or more, or $100 or more, whatever the minimum is for you that makes it worth it, your time to sell. Okay, now we know what we are selling and having some limits and parameters around that. We got to think about where we're going to be trying to sell it. So you can pick multiple platforms, but sometimes it's good to stick with one to simplify it for yourself. Up to you though, but Facebook Marketplace is kind of the king right now for selling your used things. Most everybody has a Facebook account, and that's a place where a lot of people are looking for things. But it does kind of depend on your area and where you're living. There's a site, I forget what it's called, but in the Utah area that everyone kind of uses as their Craigslist. That's kind of the go-to. So ask locals and look around and see what is, the popular avenues around your area. There's Letgo, there's OfferUp, Craigslist, all can be good options as well. Pick your platform and where you want to go. It can kind of depend on what you're selling as well. Now we need to make sure we're taking photos. That is one of the most important things when you're trying to sell. So you want to take pictures in a well-lit area, variety of different angles. If you're selling a piece of furniture with the drawers open and closed, a close-up on the hardware, the sides, you can see the depth, the very top of it to see how the finish is, if there's scratches. Having a simpler background and making it look a little more professional always kind of makes it stand out. If you can, include a screenshot of the original posting, whether you got it online or, if you can find something similar on Amazon, or if you bought it from Walmart or whatever. Them having a link to the original can help them know exactly what item they're getting, and so that can be very helpful. if they need replacement parts or something, they know who to contact and they can get the exact dimensions and all that kind of thing. And then a tip, if you are selling lots of smaller things, I think it's smart to have all of your photos have a similar look so people know they're all from the same seller very easily just by glancing at it. So if you use like the same background in all your photos or something, that can clue people in that, oh, she's selling all of these things, and it's more worth their time to go pick that up if there's multiple items that you're selling that they like. And so make note of that too in your description. And also for the description, obviously you want to have a description of the product, size, brand, color, conditions, potential uses, dimensions. If you've got the time and it's like a piece of furniture or something, definitely want to have specific measurements so you can have them listed there for them. Just one less step you're going to have to do later. You want to include the forms of payment that you're willing to accept, whether that's cash only or cash and Venmo. Venmo and cash are probably the most reliable and safest forms. Don't get caught up in weird stuff like where they make you buy a gift card and send the information. But yeah, and then you also want to include how they're going to be getting the item. Is it a local pickup only? Are you willing to meet somewhere, or are you willing to deliver it? You know, if it's a big item, including that they need a pickup or you have a pickup to help them deliver it, all those kind of details and logistics so they can have a full grasp on what is required to get this piece so they know. If you don't want them coming to your house, you can meet at a parking lot at the Walmart or something. Just anywhere where there's going to be people around is the safest. And then, as I mentioned, also include check out my other listings for similar products or whatever if you're selling a bunch of things. But one strategy as well is maybe to not sell too many things at once. That can be overwhelming, but if you do have a lot of stuff that you want to sell, you can do like a few at a time so it's a little more manageable. All right, price. Look up comps. You can go into Google and search through photo. So take a photo of the item and then search, and it can bring up similar items for you and help you kind of track down exactly what it's called, or you know, the price range that you're looking at. Obviously, as it's used, you're not going to get full retail price for it, so try to be realistic and look at what other people have sold their items for, like on the same platform on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and kind of shoot for somewhere around there. My personal tip, I would recommend not saying that you're firm on the price, because that can turn off a lot of people. So you might want to be open to negotiation. Of course, if they offer you $2 and you're not feeling that, you can say no, but that can be helpful, especially if you're not totally certain on what you can get for that product you're selling. And then a couple safety things: only communicate through the app that you're selling on. Don't give them your phone number or any other personal information, just to be safe. Make sure you turn on your notifications. So if it's like Facebook that you're selling it, make sure your Facebook Messenger notifications are on so you can get their messages immediately if they're on their way, or you know, the logistics of that are important to get right so you're not inconveniencing them and you can keep in contact. So to make it as smooth as possible, you can respond quickly and get a good rating as well. If they ask you to buy a gift card, it's a scam. And if you're selling like big items and you know, they're giving you $100 bills or whatever, they have little counterfeit markers you can get at the Dollar Tree where you can mark it and it'll be a bright yellow color, but if it's fake, it'll turn dark. So there's ways of checking and verifying that, which I don't think people will be offended if it's big dollar bills and you want to make sure you're doing it right. Or, you know, just take Venmo as well. That's a fairly safe option. So yeah, hopefully all of these little tips were helpful. I know it's so hard to get rid of your things, and so sometimes selling them is a good way to make it easier to let go of things. That is not my strong suit, and I'm working on it. But I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye, friend.